Welcome to Infinitunial, where we explore the biggest what-ifs of history and science. Today, we're journeying back in time to witness one of humanity's most catastrophic losses. Imagine a single fire, a blaze so devastating it sets human progress back by 1,000 years. What if the greatest repository of knowledge the ancient world had ever known was wiped from existence, its secrets turned to ash and smoke? This isn't a hypothetical scenario, it's the tragic story of the Library of Alexandria. Join us as we uncover what secrets, inventions, and histories were lost forever in its flames, and ponder how different our world might be today if those priceless scrolls had survived. Visual, a stunning, photorealistic CGI reconstruction of the Library of Alexandria in its prime. Sunlight streams through colonnades, illuminating scholars of diverse backgrounds reading scrolls in a vast, marble hall. In the heart of the gleaming city of Alexandria, founded by Alexander the Great in Egypt, stood a beacon of human intellect unlike any other. This was not just a collection of books, it was the world's brain, a vibrant center of scholarship, innovation, and culture that drew the greatest minds from across the known world. For centuries, from roughly the 3rd century BCE, the library and its associated Mausoleon, or Shrine of the Muses, was the epicenter of learning. It was a place where mathematics, astronomy, engineering, geography, medicine, and philosophy flourished under the generous patronage of the Ptolemaic dynasty. Ships docking in Alexandria's harbor were required to surrender any books they carried. Scribes would then meticulously copy the texts, keeping the originals for the library and returning the copies to the owners. This aggressive acquisition policy meant the library amassed a collection estimated to contain anywhere from 40,000 to 400,000 papyrus scrolls. Each scroll was a universe of thought, a direct link to the minds of the past. Within its walls, the very foundations of Western scientific and humanistic thought were being laid, brick by intellectual brick. Visual, an animation showing a scholar, Eratosthenes, using sticks and shadows to calculate the Earth's circumference. The animation clearly illustrates the geometric principles involved. So, what exactly was lost? The scale is almost impossible to comprehend. Let's start with science. It was here that Eratosthenes, a brilliant librarian, calculated the circumference of the Earth with astounding accuracy, using little more than sticks, shadows, and pure reason. He was off by only a tiny fraction, a feat not replicated for over 1,500 years. Imagine if his work hadn't been lost and then rediscovered, but had been continuously built upon. Would humanity have understood its place on the globe centuries earlier? Then there was Aristarchus of Samos, who proposed a heliocentric model of the solar system, placing the sun, not the Earth, at its center. This was nearly 1,800 years before Copernicus rocked the foundations of European thought with the very same idea. His original works are gone, known only through passing references in other surviving texts. Had his theories been the standard astronomical model, the clash between science and authority during the Renaissance might have been entirely avoided, accelerating our journey to the stars. Visual, a split screen. On one side, a CGI representation of Hero of Alexandria's steam engine, the Alipile, spinning. On the other, a 19th century steam train. The library also housed the genius of engineers like Hero of Alexandria. He documented and created incredible devices, including the world's first steam engine, known as the Alipile. It was a simple sphere that spun when heated, a novelty at the time. But what if it wasn't seen as just a toy? What if generations of engineers had access to his designs, refining and improving them? The Industrial Revolution, which was powered by steam, might have begun in the Roman Empire instead of 18th century Britain. Think of a world with steam-powered automation, complex machinery, and perhaps even early forms of industrial manufacturing, all flourishing over a millennium earlier. The entire technological timeline of our species would be radically different. Hero also worked on automata, programmable robots, and vending machines that dispensed holy water. These weren't just flights of fancy, they were blueprints for a future that was lost, a future of automation and mechanics that humanity would have to painstakingly rediscover. Visual, an animated map showing the known world according to geographers at the library. It's surprisingly detailed. Then, show a much cruder, medieval T&O map for comparison. The knowledge of our world itself was meticulously charted within the library's walls. Geographers like Ptolemy created maps and atlases of the known world with a precision that would be unmatched until the Age of Discovery. They used a system of latitude and longitude, principles of cartography that were incredibly advanced for their time. After the library's decline, this knowledge vanished. European maps regressed into simplistic, mythological representations for 1,000 years. How many explorers, guided by flawed maps, were lost at sea? How much sooner would humanity have charted the entire globe if Ptolemy's work had remained the standard? The world would have felt smaller, more connected, far sooner. Visual, a scholar in a tranquil room examining medicinal plants and writing on a scroll. The scene transitions to show early, sophisticated surgical tools laid out neatly. Medicine, too, suffered an incalculable setback. Herophilus, often called the father of anatomy, performed systematic dissections of human bodies in Alexandria, something that was taboo elsewhere. He distinguished between motor and sensory nerves, identified the brain as the seat of intelligence, and described the circulatory system with remarkable detail. His discoveries laid the groundwork for a scientific approach to medicine, moving it away from superstition and guesswork. When this knowledge was lost, medical science entered a long period of stagnation. For centuries, physicians relied on outdated and often incorrect theories. Imagine a world where advanced anatomical knowledge was never lost, a world that sidestepped centuries of ineffective treatments and developed surgical techniques and an understanding of disease far earlier. The human lifespan itself might have been extended centuries ago. Visual, a dramatic montage of flickering scrolls. On them, we see fragments of lost plays, poems, and historical texts. The faces of historical figures like Sappho and Berossus appear and fade. Beyond science and technology, the cultural loss is heartbreaking. The library held the complete works of the great Greek tragedians like Sophocles, Aeschylus, and Euripides. Of the estimated 300 plays they wrote collectively, only about 30 survive today. We have lost entire epics, countless poems, and masterful works of rhetoric and philosophy. We have the names of authors whose entire life's work is now just a title mentioned in another book. It's like knowing a great artist existed but having never seen a single one of their paintings. The library also contained comprehensive histories, such as the 3-volume History of Babylon by the priest Berossus, or the History of Egypt by Manetho. These were first-hand accounts of ancient civilizations, written from within those cultures. What we have now are fragmented copies and secondary sources. We are looking at these magnificent civilizations through a keyhole, when the library once held the open door. The stories, political insights, and societal structures of entire empires are lost to us forever. Visual, a slow-motion sequence showing a fire starting in the harbor, spreading to buildings near the library. Scholars are seen desperately trying to save scrolls as smoke fills the halls. So what happened? How could such a treasure be lost? The destruction of the library wasn't a single event, as the legend often suggests. There was no one great fire that consumed everything overnight. The truth is more complicated and, in some ways, more tragic. It was a death by 1,000 cuts, a gradual decline spanning centuries, caused by budget cuts, political purges, and a series of conflicts. The first major blow likely came during Julius Caesar's civil war in 48 BCE. While pursuing his rival Pompey, Caesar set fire to ships in the harbor. The flames spread and historical accounts suggest a significant number of scrolls stored in a warehouse near the docks were destroyed. This was not the main library building, but it was a devastating loss nonetheless, a sign of the fragility of this great institution in a world of constant conflict. Visual, a montage showing the library in decline. Fewer scholars, dusty halls, scrolls beginning to decay. The atmosphere is one of neglect. Over the next few centuries, the library's fortunes waned with those of the city of Alexandria itself. Imperial power shifted to Rome, and the generous funding the library once enjoyed began to dry up. Intellectual purges drove scholars away. The vibrant, international community that had made the library so dynamic began to dissolve. the institution suffered from neglect, a slow, creeping decay more insidious than any fire. The final, definitive end came in the late 4th and early 5th centuries CE. With the rise of militant Christianity, institutions seen as pagan, like the Great Library and the Serapeum Temple that housed part of its collection, were targeted. In 391 CE, the Serapeum was destroyed by a mob. By 415 CE, the last remnants of Alexandria's great intellectual tradition were extinguished. The loss wasn't just about fire, it was about a shift in ideology. It was the closing of the mind, where the preservation of ancient, diverse knowledge was no longer seen as a virtue but as a threat. The scrolls that weren't burned were likely left to decay, their knowledge dispersed and forgotten. Visual, a fast-forward sequence from the Dark Ages to the Renaissance. We see the slow rediscovery of science, art, and philosophy. The frame freezes on a modern scientist looking into a microscope. If the Library of Alexandria had survived, our world today would be unrecognizable. The Dark Ages in Europe might never have happened, or would have been significantly shorter. The Renaissance, a rebirth of classical knowledge, would have been unnecessary because that knowledge would never have been lost. Our scientific progress could be 1,000 years more advanced. We might have colonized the solar system centuries ago. We might have cured diseases like cancer and Alzheimer's, and our understanding of the universe and our place in it would be profoundly deeper. We might have a richer, more complete understanding of our own history, with fewer gaps and mysteries. The lost philosophies could have given us different models for society, politics, and ethics. We would know so much more about what it means to be human. The story of the Library of Alexandria is the ultimate cautionary tale. It teaches us that knowledge is precious, but it is also fragile. It reminds us that progress is not inevitable and that what is built over centuries can be lost in a moment of violence, or slowly eroded by neglect and intolerance. It stands as a ghost in our history, a monument to what we lost and a powerful symbol of the endless, brilliant potential of the human mind. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. What piece of lost knowledge do you wish we could recover from the ashes of Alexandria? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring the great what-ifs of history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with all our new videos from Infinitunial. Until next time, keep questioning.